Every problem has a solution. Written by Christina Torres and illustrated by Rafai Suganda. It was the very first day of school, and in Miss Torres's class, you could hear Miles screaming across the room. "Hey, Liliana, you give that back!" Liliana said, "I will not give that back. You took it from me. It's mine, mine, mine." Miles was so frustrated and so mad that he let out a big "Ah!" Their teacher, Miss Torres, walked right over and said, "Liliana, Miles, it sounds like you both have a problem and we must come up with a solution." Miles said, "Miss Torres, what's a problem?" Liliana said, "Yeah, and what's a solution?" Miss Torres quickly gathered the whole class together on the rainbow rug and asked all of her students what they thought a problem and a solution were. One of her students, Penny, quickly chimed in and said, "A problem is when kids don't get along, like you two." Cameron interjected and said, "No, it's when your mommy gets really, really mad." Penny said, "No, it's not." Cameron said, "Yes, it is." "No, it's not." "Yes, it is." "No." "Yes." "No." "Yes, it is," Penny said, jumping up and down. Okay. Everyone, settle down. Did you know that kids are the best kind of problem solvers? "Really?" said her class. They were all stunned. They couldn't believe it. Izzy raised her hand and asked, "Miss Torres, do you mean we're better problem solvers than teachers?" "Uh-huh," Alexis said. "Are we better problem solvers than our moms and dads?" "What about my big sister?" said Haley. Miss Torres confidently said, "Yep, kids are the best kind of problem solvers." "Wow," said Miss Torres's whole class. "Wow." Soon after, the students in Miss Torres's class began chanting, "Woohoo! We are the best! We are the best! We are the best!" All of a sudden, the principal walked in and asked, "Miss Torres, what's all the ruckus in here?" "My students just realized they are the best problem solvers." Amado jumped up and down and said, "Yeah, Miss Torres told us we're the best problem solvers in the whole wide world." "That's right," she nodded her head up and down. Izzy whispered into Amado's ear, "But Miss Torres didn't teach us how." Amado said, "Don't worry, I bet Miss Torres—" And before Amado could finish his sentence, Miss Torres went digging in her big tall closet. Just then, Miss Torres popped out and pulled out a rolled up yoga mat. "Ah, here it is." With that look in her eye, the students knew Miss Torres had a plan, and it was bound to be good. "Okay, students, I'm going to show you a way for all of us to solve our problems." Alexis turned to her friend Callie and said, "How in the world are we going to solve our problems with yoga?" Callie said, "Yeah, our teacher sounds a little crazy." Haley replied, "Yeah, she's always thinking of crazy ways to make learning fun." "Students, this is our problem-solving mat." "Ooh, Ah, that looks fun. Yes, solving problems with each other can be fun. It also helps our brain grow. Cool. Here is step one. This is where you start when you have a problem. Step two is where you touch or tell how you are feeling. And in step three, you will work together to figure out how to solve your problem. Liliana, Miles, would you like to show everyone how it's done? Miles and Liliana both stood up and walked over to the mat and stood facing each other at step one while the whole class watched. Liliana went first. Miles, you took my favorite stuffy. I was playing with it. Miles said, Yeah, well, I like that stuffy too. I wanted to build a castle for him, but you took it. Miss Torres said, Great job. Now head over to step two. You made me feel. Miles carefully looked over all the emojis in square two, and then he pointed and continued. You made me feel like this and this. Liliana leaned over and saw that Miles pointed at the frustrated face and mad face. Liliana went next, and she too carefully looked over the emojis and pointed and said, You made me feel mad and sad. Miles slowly picked up his head and looked at Liliana's face and said, I made you mad and sad? I didn't mean to make you sad. Liliana's head was down, and a tear fell gently from her face. Yeah, it hurt my feelings. I'm sorry, Liliana. When they heard Miles apologize to Lily, Caden blurted out, Good job, Miles. You're doing great. Go to step three. At the same time, Miles and Liliana both moved over to step three. Okay, Liliana, how are we going to solve our problem? Liliana said, I don't know. How about if I just use the stuffy and you use it next time? Well, I want to use the stuffy too. How about if we take turns using the stuffy? Okay, but who gets to go first? I know. Let's rock, paper, scissors. Yeah, let's do it. The class said with glee, Yay! Liliana and Miles solved their problem. Welp, you did say kids are the best kind of problem solvers, Caden declared. Yes, Caden, they are, said Miss Torres with a big smile on her face and a wink in her eye.